Hello everybody, my name is Chris and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to go over how to grip, how to stand, and basically how to shoot your handgun. So I'm also going to go over how to use the sights and everything pertaining to that, and we'll go to the range here in a little bit. But once again, if you have any questions, feel free to stop by, shoot us an email, give us a call, or leave a comment down below. Also make sure to like and subscribe to the video if you found this series helpful.
Alright, welcome back to the range. Now, I am in a bay all by myself. The firearm is clear and safe. And let's go over the basics of grip, stance, posture, and a little bit of recoil control. First things first, when you grip the pistol, always grip it with your dominant hand. So in this case, my right hand, since I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, everything is exactly the same, just the opposite hand and opposite feet once we get there. When you grip the pistol, your middle ring and pinky finger will be wrapped around. We're going to keep our thumb pointed up for right now and our finger off the trigger till we're ready to shoot. The other thing I want you to take a notice or see is how high up on the pistol I am actually grabbing it with my dominant hand. Now, I see a lot of people grabbing the pistol and there's a lot of space here. We don't want that. We want our hand as high up on the pistol as possible so that our wrist is in line with the recoil, essentially, hopefully giving us better recoil control in the long run. Now, there's a bunch of space on the left side of the pistol, and we want to get rid of that space and put as much skin contact on there as possible so that we can help with recoil control. With our non-dominant hand, in this case my left hand, we are going to put our fingers together, thumb pointed up, point your wrist ever so slightly forward, and fill in the space. So my thumb is going to lie across the frame right below the slide, and the base of my pistol is going to lie on the frame right here. Okay, we want to fill all that up. The thing I really want you to see is that my thumbs are on the same side of the pistol. The reason for that is there's two different grips that I see all the time that are incorrect. One is basically just a shooting thing, and the other thing is also a safety hazard. The first thing that I see, or the first grip that I see that's wrong, is what we call teacupping, and that's taking your support hand and basically just plopping the pistol on top of it. You can probably already tell that this whole side of the handgun isn't supported. It's going to have a lot of recoil, and it's probably not going to hit where you want it to every single time. The other thing that we see is what we call crossing your thumbs. Now, with your non-dominant hand, we see a lot of people put their thumb back here or even grip down here. The issue with that is this pistol is going to cycle, right? And the back of the slide is very, very sharp and it's moving very fast. So I don't care who you are, you got squishy thumbs, you're gonna lose the battle, okay? So thumbs on the same side, that way I can't get nicked and I have good contact and grip on the pistol. So once again, middle ring, pinky wrapped around, thumb pointed straight up with our non-dominant support hand, fingers together, thumb pointed up, rotate it ever so slightly. So my thumb is lying on the frame right below the slide. The base of my palm is going to fill in the grip here. And there we go. We've got a good grip on the pistol. Let's go over stance. All right, so let's talk about stance. So my feet are going to be shoulder width apart. Since I'm right-handed, my right foot is going to be slightly back. If you're left-handed, your left foot's going to be slightly back. Now, I kind of want you to imagine like somebody is going to push you in the chest. How would you stand? Yeah, just like I showed you. Right foot back or left foot back, right? Nice and stable and sturdy. You may have seen, especially in older movies, some academies that still teach this right now, but that sort of old stance of feet right next to each other, and you're kind of hunched over like this. There is a time and a place for that. Right now, I don't want you to do that kind of for two reasons. One, it's not that strong or stable of a base, and as a beginner, I want to eliminate as many variables as possible. The other thing is muscularly, you're going to start to fatigue after a while. If you're all hunched over like this, it's very strenuous on the arms, the shoulders, the traps, your neck, your head, everywhere. So just nice, relaxed, neutral position. So feet shoulder width apart, right foot slightly back. My chest, neck, head are all in a very neutral position. And when I draw the pistol, I'm going to present the sights right in line with my eye. I'm not going to bend down. I'm not going to reach. I'm not going to do anything. Just in line with my eye. That way my whole body is neutral. I have a strong base and I'm very relaxed and comfortable. All right. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about ever so slightly is recoil control. Now, if we have a strong base, like I taught you, very relaxed and very neutral, and we have our pistol, we've got a good grip, and we go, it should be relatively easy to keep those rounds on target. Now, obviously, I'm pretty close when you're shooting, but just understand that having a good grip and a good stance are really, really vital in order to figure out basically, what do I need to work on? Do I need to work on a trigger squeeze? Am I flinching? Am I using the sights wrong? If you have the grip and you have your stance down, you'll be a-okay, and you'll be able to figure out everything else in no time. All right, let's head back to the classroom and wrap up.
Welcome back to the classroom. So, as you can see on my whiteboard of knowledge, I have 3 different drawings. Hopefully the reflection doesn't get too bad, but I have 3 different drawings. On the far left, you'll see our iron sights. So this box in the back is our rear sight. This little square is our front sight. So you want to put your front sight in between your rear sight. Make sure there's even space in between, and that everything is flat on top. I know it's not flat, I'm just not a good drawer. Now, when you are actually shooting, I want you to focus more on the iron sights themselves and not the dots or whatever shape is on the sight right now. So those are for when you're shooting faster and you're just looking to make sure, okay, I'm on target, I'm on target, I'm on target. We'll get there, but right now we're just going to learn the fundamentals. So this diagram shows the iron sights all lined up. My sights are flat, and this little circle behind it is the bullseye. So when you are aiming with iron sights, you are going to cut the bullseye in half with the top of your sights, and the very top of your iron sights is where the bullet is going to hit. So not the dot and not anywhere else, okay? So if I see people starting to hit really high on the bullseye, that means they're covering the center of the bullseye with the dot on their iron sight and shooting, usually. I don't want you to do that. Imagine that the dots or whatever shape on there doesn't exist. You're gonna line up your rear sight, your front sight, make sure it's all flat, cut the target in half, and put the very front of your front sight, or very top rather, of your front sight on the target and squeeze. And I want you to focus on that. Don't focus on your rear sights, don't focus on the target, focus on the front sight. Once again, if you need help, just let me know. On this very far diagram is my horrible drawing of a red dot. So this is the shroud, the little square is the glass, the circle is the target, and then the dot in the center is your red dot. Now, red dots make it a lot easier. You're not really lining anything up. As long as your dot is zeroed, it's in the center of your glass, and it's covering whatever you want to hit, that's where it's gonna go. So that's why a lot of people are choosing to go to red dots, because once you get it down, once you can present that pistol and get that dot on target, it's really fast. You just cover the dot over whatever you want to hit, and that's where it hits. If you do have co-witnessing iron sights, or you see your iron sights through the glass, imagine they don't exist, you're just using the dot. So make sure that dot's in the center of the glass, and then cover the dot on whatever you want to hit, and you'll hit it. I've brought you guys to the table to see trigger squeeze and kind of explain its importance, especially within a handgun, because it's just floating in 3D space. Unlike a rifle where you have 3 points of contact, at least, probably 4, with that being each hand, your shoulder, and probably your chin or cheek weld, where a handgun, you just have your left and your right hand. So trigger squeeze really comes into play and can cause a lot of issues and really throw off a shot if it isn't done properly. So I brought you guys in close. Obviously, this is also safe, although very dirty. When we're pulling the trigger, it's going to be a little bit different for each person, right? We all have different size fingers, different size hands, so I can't really tell you where to pull the trigger from, because it might and probably is different between you as it's compared to me, right? So this is gonna literally take just practice and time behind the trigger to figure it out. Okay, the biggest thing that I want you to understand is the 3 different phases of a trigger, right? So once again, safe and clear. There is what's called the take up. So the trigger is moving, right? But there's no click because the gun hasn't gone off. So there's a take up, there's a wall. So the trigger has stopped moving, right? It's not moving at all, but I'm just sitting here, but there's still no click. And there's the break, right? So the gun actually went off, as you heard. So the other thing is the reset. So once that gun cycles, trigger goes out, I hear it click, and then I can actually pull the trigger again. So why is this important? Especially, like I said, with a pistol, it's floating in 3D space, so we need to be really, really accurate when shooting. So if we get rid of that take up right away when we're shooting, we're eliminating as much movement as possible for when we're actually firing the handgun. So when I'm shooting, I'm going to get rid of that take up, sit at the wall, make sure my sights are perfectly on, and then I'll slow, smooth, squeeze to the rear, the gun breaks, and obviously you would fire and hopefully hit what you're aiming at. So the other thing that I want you to realize is where my finger is placed on the trigger. Now, for the vast majority of people, the center pad of your pointer finger is what works best. Some people, you need to put a little bit more on the tip of your finger. Some people need to get closer to their knuckle. Like I said before, it's all dependent on your finger, what works for you, and maybe even if you have any issues like arthritis. If I see somebody shooting entirely left or entirely right, like perfectly left or right on the target, it's basically always trigger squeeze. So as a right-handed shooter, and just think if you're left-handed, everything is 100% the opposite. But as a right-handed shooter, if I don't have enough finger on the trigger, when I pull the trigger, I'm going to push the gun to the left. If I have too much, I'm going to pull the gun to the right? So finding that happy balance in between is going to take a little bit of time, but once you get it, you should be good, and just practice with that trigger squeeze, and you will be a-okay. And that's pretty much it. That's all that there is to it. I know there's a lot of things that are going to require time and practice, and that's all that's going to need to happen. This is a skill, so finding what grip works best for you, where do I put my fingers that, is comfortable but also helps manage recoil, where do I put my finger on the trigger to, accurately shoot my handgun, how do I get my sights on target really fast, is all through practice. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that this series is helping some of you out. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or fears, feel free to give us an email, comment down below, give us a call, or stop in store. Anybody on staff will be more than willing to help you out. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
I like to be educated.